All right, so this is going to be a market update for March the 5th. And let's go ahead and delve into the S&P 500, which is going to stay on the radar for quite a while, it looks like. Obviously, wild swings back and forth. Everybody's trying to gain footing on what is going on. Squeeze indicator still indicating short, and it can't get past the 10 EMA. Yesterday, it looked like it closed above, but then got rejected really hard today. So until this low holds, okay, this one right down here, then S&P is at risk of going lower. It could still come all the way back down to 2772, even lower than that. So we'll leave it at that right now. Just be very cautious if you're investing in the market right now. This looks to be possibly a short-term bottom, but until it comes back and retests and then turns up, there's no sense in like dipping your toes in just yet. So that's the S&P 500. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin. And basically, very nice, reversal pattern again, right? So we had, a test of the trend line, came up, had a bullish engulfing right here, and then just when you get an inside day, doji, and then big green stick. It's testing the 200-day moving average right now. This is a tricky area, but as long as it holds this trend line, things are good, right? Squeeze indicator is starting to get a little bit extended here, and we can see what happens when it gets extended over here, right? You get a little pop. You start getting the yellow histograms. Doesn't mean you can't come back and retest that low, but usually it's a good indicator that maybe we've got a short-term bottom here, or at least a longer-term bottom. So we'll see. Still looks pretty good right here. As long as we can hold the trend line and the 50 EMA, things are bullish. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of the futures. And let's go over to the regular chart on the Coinbase exchange. This is non-futures. And same thing. You can see basically where we broke the 10 EMA on the Coinbase exchange, okay? But we're testing right now the 20-day moving average. It actually hit it today and then backed off. So it's going to have to consolidate a little bit. And right now, I'd like to see this 10 EMA hold. I'd like to see the 233 hold. It wouldn't really be out of the question for this thing to maybe wick a little bit below the 10 as long as it closes above. That's going to be the thing to watch. So let's just see if right now the 10 EMA can hold this thing. That level is around 89.80. So just keep an eye on that. And again, nice closure of this reversal pattern. That's back to back. Okay, and we talked about over here. You had a bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing. Now we're getting two back-to-back reversal patterns. So is Bitcoin trying to tell us something? Okay? That's all I'm going to say about Bitcoin. My bias is to the high side, but it's going to have to prove it to us, correct? All right, so let's move on. Let's go over to Ethereum. And really, Ethereum couldn't get... where in the past, it actually outperformed Bitcoin a little bit, but just can't get past the 10 and the 20 right now, the EMAs, or the 38.2 Fib retracement for that matter. So until it breaks this area, it's just going to chop and grind. So let's just, as long as it can hold in this right here and hold the 50 EMA, looks slightly bullish. Just be on guard. It could get really choppy and whippy, so be careful with that. Litecoin can't get past the 233-day moving average or the 10 EMA right here. Okay, so if it can break through this, potential move up to 65, and then you start taking out some other Fib retracements. The downside is that if it breaks... I'm going to call it right here, let's say around 58. I think it probably takes out these lows and goes lower. Okay, that's the risk on Litecoin. Let's go over to, let's take a look at Link. And Link, basically, we talked about it last night, was that just an overthrow of this area right here. And right now it's backing off. Okay, so now we're going to come back and we're going to start looking back toward this 10 EMA. things could dip all the way back to 430. And beyond that, it could actually dip all the way back to 418. So getting into overbought territory, but it's not one that just, I mean, most moves are made when it's in this area. So just watch this and make sure it's not a head fake. It could just be coiling up in this area to go higher. Okay. And if it does, your next area, basically, which is where it hit right there the other day, close to 5. Over 5 a little bit, and then 531, and then things probably really get interesting. XTZ, not a nice candle right there to close the day today. It did get above the 10, it got above the 20. Maybe, obviously pulling back here to retest this area. So if it can hold in this 295 to 3 range, it looks like just a dip to be bought. But if it closes below this, then we've got something different on our hands, and we'll have to start looking more to the downside. I still like its chances of going higher, but again, you just have to be on your toes and have stop losses. Let's go to DGB. We had the position in still have the position in this one, and it's been a long one, a lot longer than what I thought, but we're still there. We didn't get stopped out. Price is now starting to try to go in our favor. It did a nice job of breaking above the 10 EMA, the 20, and now on a retest today, held the 10 EMA. Now all we have to do is take out the 50, which is around 72. So we're a sat away, or a couple of sats away. And then maybe, who knows, if any kind of news or whatever hits this thing, falling wedge pattern, if this thing can just get through this area and through here, actually, if it breaks, above this wedge, I think it probably takes out this resistance and goes higher. Still expecting possibly, let's call it the first zone, 85, and then after that, a fib cluster up here around 91. So that's what I've got on DigiByte. Let's take a look at ZRX just real quick. Wow, 10, pretty good strength right here. Breaking, it hit the 50% retracement, backed off a little bit. Not surprising. You got some resistance over here, so some sellers right over here. But if it can come back and hold the 10 EMA and the 20, this thing could push higher. And who knows, with any kind of news, or if everything starts to turn back good again, everybody gets feeling bullish again with the overall feeling of coronavirus and whatnot. Could be looking at maybe taking out this resistance zone up here. So we'll see. The risk to the downside is obviously right here at the 200 and the 233-day moving average. That would bring obviously this low into place again at 21 and back down to possibly 17. So that's what I've got on ZRX. XRP, let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. Testing the 10 EMA, and you guys know how I feel about that. Nice reversal pattern right there. Another one right here. So maybe giving the hint that it's going to come up here and test 25 cents. Above that, probably close to 26, and then you'll have to start looking higher over here around 28 to 29. So the risk being is that if this is just maybe some sort of flag pattern on the bearish side, which it doesn't really look like. But consolidating at the lows isn't such a horrible thing. But then again, stranger things have happened in cryptos. So your risk obviously is 22 cents below that, and you go, obviously a lot lower. So things are shaping up a little bit, but let's see how things play out, right? It's a crazy market. The S&P is doing weird stuff. The coronavirus. I think this all washes out at some point here in the near future. So that's just my thoughts. Good luck, guys. And if you would, please hit the like button. And if you would, the subscribe button down here in the bottom right. And also hit the little bell. I'll let you know when my new videos come up. So appreciate everybody. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands, all that good stuff. And we'll talk soon.